Hey guys. First I want to say thank you for tuning in to my YouTube video. This is my very first YouTube video. I've never recorded on YouTube before, but I think that the time is now that um, I need to record what I need to say and just to share a part of the story of my life. And some people may say that maybe it's been a long time and why haven't I already, talked about it or really, really went forth with opening up about things that has happened to me that I'm not happy with. And I found it that what we have going on in the world now is the perfect time for me to talk about it. Um, as I watched the funeral of Mr. Brooks on yesterday, it kind of woke something up in me. And I just wanted to really come on to really encourage people and just to let them know that regardless of what has happened or regardless of what has taken place in your life, regardless of how the world system tries to disable your life or try to stop you from going where God has intended you to go, really you can get there if you stay focused and you really give it to God. And I really have to encourage myself like every single day because as I think about the things that has happened in my life, I sometimes I have a hard time telling myself that I can make it or God is on my side, even though I believe that He is. Sometimes I just don't feel it. And I know it's not in what we feel. It's not in what we feel. Um, it's really in what we believe and what the promises of God that has been spoken in His Word. So, um, you know, for one thing, I couldn't talk about this situation years ago because number one, I was hurt, I was broken, I was bitter, I was angry, I was upset, I was embarrassed, I felt ashamed, like something happened to me that I wouldn't wish on anybody. I don't have enemies. I don't know who doesn't like me, but I don't have enemies. I don't have people that I'm just walking around not liking. That's just not me. But I wouldn't wish any type of hurt or pain, any type of discomfort to anybody. That's just not who I am. And that's not how I was raised. And I couldn't talk about it a while ago. And I still get teary eyed talking about it now. But it's not that I'm crying because I'm still at that broken place. Because God has mended the broken pieces. He has restored things that I've lost spiritually, mentally, physically, materialistic things. God has restored those things. And I cry with tears of joy because I do realize that God was there all the time and He's still there. He's still with me now. So, yeah, I couldn't talk about it then because I didn't want to be outside of the will of God. And when we're upset and when we're angry, things don't come out the way they should. We're not effective. We can't help anybody with speaking out of anger and out of rage. even though, yes, definitely I wanted to, because I felt like everybody that caused this pain, everybody that caused me to lose something that they didn't give me, everybody that had a hand in trying to destroy my life, yes, I felt like I wanted to give them the same thing back. But I just know that I believe God, and you know, His word says that vengeance is His, and I've always lived with that. And the other thing is, really, I did not want to move out of the will of God, outside of the will of God. I didn't want to post anything. I didn't want to say anything that God didn't intend for me to say. Even though a lot of times when God spoke to me, I didn't listen. I didn't listen. Because I was at a very, very rough place in my life. A lot of things happened, you know, over the period of a 10-year span. So many things took place that broke me down. And I was at a really, really bad place in life. And I got on this video and I said I wasn't going to cry. But sometimes I can't help it, because even though God has, you know, put me in a better place in my spirit, and He has put me in a better place in my heart, sometimes I'm still feeling hurt, and I'm still feeling that God is not there. But I know He's there. I know He's there. I know He's not left me. I know He's not forsaken me, because He promised me that He would never leave me nor forsake me. So when I get to talking about this situation, I get teary-eyed. It breaks me down. But long story short, I want to be able to encourage someone, and I want to be able to help someone that may be going through what I'm going through, or maybe have went through what I went through. Now, I look at what happened on the news, and I see where people have been killed, and you know, basically black people, black men. And you know, I thought about my situation with my husband, and how the officer had his knee on George Floyd's neck. So I thought about that, and I said, you know, they had their knee on my husband's neck, but he didn't die. He didn't die. And and even though he was targeted, they aimed to like really destroy his life, but it didn't work. It didn't work because he's better, and I'll get to that in a minute. But I just found that right now is the perfect time for me to talk about the situation, because what happened to George Floyd and all the other people has been going on forever. It happened 10 years ago in my life. It happened to me. It happened to my husband. He was targeted because he had some issues prior to becoming my husband. He had some issues in a past relationship. He was targeted. And the sad thing is, I meet these people that are in position, and I talk to different judicial people, lawyers, and you know, just different people that hear a little bit about the case and hear a little bit about what happened. And they say, for them to say to me that your husband was railroaded, it makes me sick to my stomach. Because just because the man had some issues in his previous relationship does not mean that you don't let him move on and live his life. So that's what bothers me. So let me just regroup and rewind and go back to the beginning of why I even wanted to record the video. So I was 28 years old when I met my husband. No, I was 27 years old when I met my husband. And we dated for almost a year. And after dating, we dated for a year. And it was, it was almost like I prayed for a man like him. And it was like God just sent him, dropped him from the sky. And I was like, okay, this can't be true. This can't be real. So John and I began dating back in 2004. And, you know, one thing that really, really caught my attention was that he was a man of faith and he loved the Lord as much as I did. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't have issues or we don't have things that we're going through or things that we're dealing with that we're trying to, overcome, or we don't have certain downfalls. It doesn't mean that. But he loved the Lord just as much as I did. And that really, really, you know, caught my eye. And I was attracted to him. He was attracted to me. We started dating. Like dating. Going out on dates. He take me home. He pray. He leave. We started dating. And after about a year of dating, John and I decided to get married. We got married on my birthday of 2005. And while we were dating, John shared with me things that he had went through. He shared with me that he had children from his previous relationship. And he wanted he wanted me to meet the children. So we did. This was some months after we were dating. So after we got married in 2005, it wasn't long after that we had the children. Now, I can't sit here and I cannot just give you the whole rundown of how it all happened. But I will say that there was a lot of drama. And before I even knew him or even knew the children, there was situations in the Department of Social Services on record in regards to the children before I even met them. So all this stuff all this stuff come up. So now I'm in the midst of what has happened before me. So long story short, things happened. Things went the way they went. The children end up having to be with us. I'm not here to bash anybody. I'm not here to try to make nobody feel bad. I'm just here to talk because for 11 years and even now, people have had their time to talk, and they've talked and talked and talked and talked until they can't talk anymore. And all the talk has been nothing of substance. It's been a whole bunch of lies and just not the truth. So now is my time. I put myself on this platform to talk, and I'm here to talk. This comes from the horse's mouth. And I don't have any reason to throw shots at anyone. I don't have any reason to lie. I don't have any reason to not be honest, because it is what it is. So we end up with the children, and they were placed in our custody. But this is what I want to say. I want to clear the record on this. John and I did not pursue getting custody of the children. The children were placed in our custody due to other circumstances that were none of our control. We had anything to do with it. But I'm going to let you know this, that I wasn't ready. I wasn't prepared. I just got married. I didn't go on a honeymoon. My honeymoon was stepping up to the plate to raise someone else's children who was not responsible enough as a woman to do their job as the mother. So I stepped up to the plate, and I took on the responsibility to raise children that were not mine. Now, I married this man, so those children came with the package. But all the drama and all the lies and all the deceit and all the conniving things, all that stuff, that could have stayed where it was at. I didn't have space for that. I didn't have room for that. What I did have room for was making sure that those children had a shelter over their head. They had food on the table, and they were being nurtured as children are supposed to be nurtured. That was my responsibility as their mother. And I don't say stepmother because yeah, I just don't say stepmother. So as I said, I wasn't ready, but I opened up my house because, mind you, John and I, we had just met, and we were dating, and he moved in, and then later on we got our own place, got our house together, and all of this stuff. But I was living by myself, and they came, and what was mine was theirs, and we made it a home. So after we got custody of the children, things were going well. They were excelling in school. The baby, she had been enrolled in kindergarten and was on her way. Things were going the way they should. So I thought. A couple years later, maybe 3 years later, things started happening. Started getting phone calls from the school. Started getting visits from social services. Started getting all these obscene and crazy, stupid calls and visits, and just pop-up visits saying that we were being abusive and we weren't taking care of the kids. We didn't have food. We didn't this and we didn't that. So I don't even want to address that because they came, and the social services came, and things were in order. Even when they weren't invited. When they came, my house was in order. So after that didn't work, then they started pointing and aiming at my husband. Now, as I stated in the beginning, they had already had issues in their relationship to where he had some things, some negative things on his record that weren't true. And I know that they weren't true now just because of the behavior that I witnessed. Because of the behavior that I witnessed. And if you have a person that is so sick in their mind that they have to try to destroy someone's life, destroy someone's total being, it goes deeper than that. Like you have a some type of illness. You have a mental, you have a issue, like you're sick, to just want to inflict pain and to see someone go through something that you know isn't right. That is a sick person. And that's what happened to my husband. So, long story short, socials came, they visited, they did all that they were supposed to do. They came and they said, well, ma'am, we have to do our job. We keep getting these calls. Mind you, they already have records of things that took place before I even met anybody. So, after all the visits and all of this different stuff, we went back and forth to court. I'm like, I'm over it. Um, take the kids back home, take them to their mother. They are kind of, it's been 5 years, almost. It's been 5 years now. It's been 5 years. I mean, I'm over it, because when you do all that you can do, when you've done the best that you can do as a human being, just a human being, if you've done all that you can do and you've done right by people, what else do you have? You don't have anything else. So they wanted to be back with the mother. We agreed. Okay, you can go back. But my husband, he fought so hard to keep them, because he knew that they would excel in school. They would do well, which they were all honor roll students. By the time we got them over with us and they were in school and they were doing the things that they were supposed to do, they had chores. They had to be in the house at a certain time. They had homework. They had to, clean up. They had things that, they had structure. And we live with standards. And when you have a parent that allows a child to do whatever they want to do, trust me, it's no fun being in a house where there's structure, there's rules, there's chores, there's, standards. Some kids, they don't find any fun in that until later on in life. They wish they'd had it. They wish they'd kept it. They wish they would have continued to abide by the rules. So, they went back to the mother. So now we are the bad people. We have been targeted. For the life of me, I cannot understand how you go from social services and all these people taking a child from a home that you say is not suitable. You take them and you place them in a home that you say is suitable. And you say, they're safe here. But then you turn around and you come after the people that you place them with all these false accusations, all these lies. I mean, it's just horrible. So what I want to get to that my husband was incarcerated for crimes that he did not commit. And what kind of woman would I be to stand there and allow him to do certain things to his own children? These are the lies that were allowed to be told in the court. In 2009, my husband was convicted of crimes that he did not commit. the system had their knee on his neck. And years later, for lawyers and attorneys to say to me that he was targeted, he was railroaded, it was prejudice that caused your husband to get locked up. Listen, my husband is still incarcerated. From 2009 to now, he's still incarcerated because of something that his children were pressured to say. Now get this. 2009, this happened. In 2014, the child comes back and says, I was told to say it. I lied. Will you forgive me? I don't want to go to hell. I know I was part of the problem as to why you had so many issues at home. I wasn't obedient. You were only there to help. 2014, this child came forth and said that she was pressured to say everything that she said in regards to her father. It is 2020. This is the reason why I became silent. Because nobody wanted to listen to me when I was talking in 2005 and 2006. Nobody was listening. So now, here you have it. Broken relationships with a father and his children because someone else was that bitter and that, what can I say? Just that devious to allow something like this to happen when you know that it didn't. I am very disappointed. I am very disappointed. And still to this day, nobody's listening. I've contacted the governor. I've paid lawyers who just took my money, wasn't here to help. But it was all a lie. Because he was a black man who had decided to live his life with me. Life was going good. We didn't have any issues. We've never had to call the police to our home to intervene. We've never had to have specialists come and say that this is the problem and this is what's wrong with this one and you need pills, and we didn't have all these issues. We lived by the word of God, and we were trying to raise them up in that form and in that fashion. But this is what happened. And what I want to do, what I want to say, I want to say that throughout this whole process, God has been good. I lost my house. I lost my car. I've had to really, really maintain and do things like on my own for the past 11 years. I didn't deserve it, and he didn't deserve it. But God has held me together. He's kept me in the midst of it. He's allowed me to excel in my career. He's allowed me to open up a business. He's allowed John to obtain a license as pastor. He's allowed us to start a ministry, outreach ministry, even with him being there. God is good, and he won't leave you. Even though it feels like he's gone, God is not gone. He is right there. He is right there. And a lot of times he will put us in positions and he'll put us in a place where we have to solely depend on him. Can't no doctor fix it. Can't no lawyer fix it. Can't no judge fix it. Like, nobody can fix it but him. And I'm at that place right now where I have to totally depend on God. I have to totally depend on God because nothing is moving, nothing is changing. But I still believe God. He's going to turn this situation around, and um he won't have to live with all of those negative things and all of that bad stuff on his record. Like, it's bad. You can tell a lie, but to try to undo that lie, once you tell that lie and it really, really hits that person's life and affects that person's life, like, you can't undo it as fast as you told the lie. So why tell lie? Why lie? Like, come on. You don't want to be disciplined. You don't want to be told the right thing. You don't want to do right. Don't go and destroy someone else's life. My God. That's my thing. I just want to be able to encourage young women, even young men. You know, if you get in a relationship with someone and you know that it's not working, you know that it's not right, you guys are just, it's just not working, like, go in peace. Go in peace. Don't cause disturbance. Don't try to destroy someone's life. Like, that is so, like, that is so not it. Because karma, it comes back. It comes back. And when it come back, sometimes, you know, it doesn't, it may not hit you. It may hit someone close to you. It may touch you. It may come to your child. You got to be very, very careful of how you act and how you treat people, how you handle people. You have to be very careful, because at the end of the day, when you are on the side of the road or you are at the end of your road and you see that person, you may need that person. So just be true to yourself. Be true to people. Be honest. And most of all, just seek the Lord in everything that you do. Every relationship, every place that you go, just seek the Lord in everything. That is my encouragement to the world. And I'm just praying that God would turn this thing around and that he would show favor. He would show favor. It's been 11 years and my husband is still incarcerated for something that he didn't do. Now, John and I haven't always seen eye to eye. We were at a point where we were on the verge of divorce. And that is only because John and I had our own issues that we hadn't resolved before he got locked up. And we didn't, you know, being frustrated and just this situation being so overwhelming, we didn't want to deal with trying to work things out. We were at a point where we were not together. You know, it was a big break in between our marriage. And you know, I was dealing with a lot, and I had went on and moved on with my life. But God brought it back together. And I always said that no matter where I go, no matter where I end up, I would always fight for his freedom because he did not deserve to be there. He was a good father, a provider, a husband. He took care of his home. He took care of us the best that he could. And to have that snatched from him, yes. And as I listened to the pastor yesterday on TV, the system is designed to keep you down. But he wasn't, once he had his issues in his previous relationship, he had bounced back from that. He had moved on. He had took off running with his career and things that he wanted to do for us. But to have that taken away from him again, and and at the hand of just a demonic demon, it's sad. It's really, really sad. And I just really want to let the world know, I want to let people know that no matter what you do, no matter what you say, no matter where you go, keep God first and just live your life. Be true. Be honest and true to people. Be honest and true. If you don't like them, keep it moving. If you don't love them, keep it moving. Don't destroy someone's life just because you feel a certain way. I mean, what do you get out of that? What do you get out of that? Destruction. That's what you get out of it. So I just hope that everyone that has tuned into this video, I hope that you can subscribe to the video, because I really want this message to get across the world. I want the world to know that it's not okay. It is not okay what happened to us. I've been quiet, but listen, it is not okay.